Hello and welcome to Duck Duck Book and say hello to my little friend. For those of you wondering who the heck is Duck Duck Book and why is it on my subscriber feed? Well, because I am the channel formerly known as the Speculative Bookshelf, and I've been on a several month hiatus. More like half a year. But that's because I've been having some medical issues, which began back in February. So enough about that. I'm back in front of the camera now with a new channel name that better reflects my omnivorous reading appetite. Besides, chowing down on speculative fiction, which speculative fiction is more or less an umbrella term that encompasses science fiction, horror, fantasy, and other not really real stuff. During this time off, I found myself reading more and more general fiction, mainstream fiction, classic fiction, a lot of stuff that didn't fit under the speculative fiction umbrella. So I thought a name change might be fitting. And Duck Duck Book is what it became. So those of you who are avid BookTube watchers and who subscribe to dozens of BookTube channels as I do will be aware that this month has been dubbed GarbAugust. And that name came from Ollie from the channel Criminally, with the intent that for the entire month of August we just drop any pretense of literary value in what we read and just read trash. Read the trash and stuff that critics hate, but which we secretly enjoy. These are those guilty pleasures where if you are outside in a park or on a bus or wherever in public, if you read this, it'll probably be on your Kindle rather than from a book with a cover that any stranger could see that you're reading trash. This is the 5th year that Ollie is put on the event GarbAugust, and the title of this month's event is GarbAugust V, A New Beginning. And what does that mean, a new beginning? Well, in the last several years, the event's been embellished a little by having prompts for what kind of books to read, whether it's ghost stories or haunted house or whatever, or other themes. And even last year he had a bingo card where you just checked off the boxes for whatever was being in that square. So this time, for a new beginning, he's dropped all the embellishments, just stripped the event back to its bare essentials, which is just you reading whatever you want that's considered trash by others, but which you enjoy dearly. And to illustrate, I'll show you some of the book that's on my GarbAugust TBR. First off, I'm going to do weekly updates in which each week I'm going to read 3 books by a certain author of a certain genre, because I feel you can't really get to know an author until you read several of his books or her books. And for the first week, I'm going to read 3 books from the 1940s. The first one published in 1947 by Mickey Spillane. These books feature his hard-boiled detective, Mike Hammer. And his first book was I, the Jury, which when it came out, it just got scathing reviews from the critics. It was terrible. It was full of sexism and violence and just trashy writing. But readers scarfed them up. I mean, they were so popular that in no time, by the time the paperback edition came out, the hardcover had already sold like 2 million copies. But like I said, the critics just almost universally despised him. And why? Well, besides what I just said, come back at the end of the first week of August, and I'll tell you all about them and show you why they were considered such trashy books. Spillane wrote 13 of these novels with Mike Hammer. That is, he wrote them alone. Later on, after 1995, he teamed up with his good friend, and who would later become his literary executor after his death, Max Allan Collins, a well-regarded writer in his own right. And Max Allan Collins wrote quite a few books that either with Mickey Spillane or from unfinished drafts that Spillane had, or just outlines from Spillane. And so there's probably double that amount. There's probably 13 more, I think, that were written either with or by Max Allan Collins. Also, for 1 week of GarbAugust, I'm going to read some horror by the grande dame of horror, Ruby Jean Jensen. And many of you will be familiar with Ruby Jean, mostly from her zebra horror books. Most of zebras had, well, all of zebras really had these outrageous covers featuring either haunted dolls, mostly from Ruby Jean Jensen. Out of 30-odd books that she wrote, 5 of them have to do with haunted dolls. Like I said, the zebra books also had, if they weren't featuring haunted dolls on the cover, they were probably skeletons, even if skeletons didn't appear anywhere in the story itself. So that'll be another week, Ruby Jean Jensen. A third week will feature a different genre. Will be some fantasy, but in the subgenre of fantasy called Sword and Planet, which is inspired by Edgar Rice Burroughs' John Carter of Mars. The books I'm going to read are by the author Kenneth Bulmer, who is a very prolific British author who wrote over 160 novels, plus a bunch of short stories, under his own name and under various pen names. And the books I'm reading are by the pen name he used, Alan Burt Akers. And it's part of the Dre Prescott series, first published by Daw Books in 1972. And from 1972 to 1988, Daw published 37 books in the series. And like I said, true to the inspiration of John Carter of Mars and the Sword and Planet genre itself, these adventures all take place on another planet called Kragan. Dre Prescott, the hero of the series, was a late 18th century naval officer in Nelson's Navy, and he's transported to the planet Kragan, where he experiences various and sundry adventures. I'm really looking forward to reading these and then continuing on with the rest of the series. And then finally, the fourth week, I'll be turning my attention to comic books. Not comic books per se, but to Elliot S. Maggin, who was a very well-known, popular comic book writer from the 70s and 80s, who's especially noted for his work on the Bronze Age Superman. And I've got 3 books by him, which I'm going to read. 2 Superman novels called Last Son of Krypton and Miracle Monday. And the 3rd book is called An Enemy's Gifts and Other Stuff. And it consists of short stories, not necessarily Superman stories, but in particular it contains a novella called Star Howls, which is all about the origin of Crypto, the superdog. So that sounds like it'll be fun, if a bit trashy. And I'm really looking forward to reading those. And then I'll probably have to just go to Comixology and pick up some of Maggin's Superman comics that he wrote. So that's my plans for GarbAugust. And whereas in the past, Ollie had co-hosts, like up to 12 other BookTube channels that were co-hosts for the event. This year he's not having any co-hosts. Anybody can participate, any booktuber, any viewer. If you're a booktuber and want to upload participate in the GarbAugust event, all you do is just put up your video on the subject of GarbAugust and just tag Ollie in hashtag Criminale, and he will include your channel on his community page on his channel. And then also be sure to hashtag GarbAugust and or GarbAugust 2026 in your video description, so anybody can find them by searching that term. So that's my plans for GarbAugust, and I hope you'll join me throughout the month. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see you then.